And this is Geek Tank.
Your It's Warmer Than It Should Be Out There size podcast.
Yeah, that is true. I think I'm fundamentally disturbed by the fact that it has been, I mean, like we've got a rainstorm coming up. A rainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
We've had, I think, like a centimeter of snow this entire summer or this entire winter. I mean, like it's been nothing. I don't even know. Now, I mean, Colorado is not known for gajillions of tons of snow, but we are known for about 5 to 7 snowstorms a winter, and we've had none. None. I mean, we've had a couple of dustings, but nothing. This is like the wildest it's ever been for Colorado on record, and that's what they've said. This is the warmest it's ever been. We're gonna have to go. We're already on water restrictions. Did you hear? We start water restrictions tomorrow.
I knew we were starting it. I wasn't sure when it was.
Yeah, tomorrow, April 1st, and or not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, day after tomorrow. So April 1st. So, and that's not a fool's day joke.
Mm-mm.
Denver is being very straightforward about this. They're like, we're not screwing around on this one. Water restrictions. There's going to be a lot of brown lawns this summer.
Yeah.
So that's a wild and woolly thing to have there. So interesting.
I was mentioning that, and I guess some cities do this. I couldn't name which ones, but I thought that with this situation coming, that if I was in charge of making these decisions, I would offer a tax incentive or some kind of incentive for people that are thinking of redoing their lawn to xeriscape it, so that way they use less water. And it's one of those things that would be better in the long run, period. So it'd be investing in the future of not having to worry about the water problem.
I also think that a lot of places should start considering, like HOAs specifically. Our HOA won't let us xeriscape the yards, and it's weird. But I think that that's because the rules were set into place in the 1970s. So, you know, it would be nice to have them change out the rules.
Yeah.
So definitely an interesting, not the left turn that I expected to get. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, wild. It's definitely wild. So yeah, that's definitely a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Easily a couple of years ago, I kind of it's been getting worse like every day almost now. But back then it was like every now and then. Kind of wanted to just slap the people that I knew in my life that were like, climate change isn't real.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, here's all the evidence. That's not evidence. You can't trust those NASA scientists. They're so shady and greedy.
Well, and now the modification on it is climate change is real, but it's not human caused.
Because humans could never affect anything on that scale.
That's their logic, and I'm like, but it is. It really is. So, and this is something. It's interesting. I had gone to NCAR, which is the National Center of Atmospheric Research, which is up in Boulder, when I was in high school. I don't remember. So we're talking about the 80s, the 90s, and of course was way too caught up in the Lockheed Electra that they use, which is a type of airplane specifically for going into hurricanes. But while I was there, they had this video that they were running at the time, which was showing, they were showing carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide coming from power plants all over the United States, taken from a GOES satellite. So our geo satellites that orbit, if you look at the Earth through infrared, the carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide are opaque. They look like smoke because that's what causes it to be a greenhouse gas, right? Infrared radiation is what makes heat. So when the Earth generates infrared, it gets caught in those clouds of carbon monoxide and dioxide and bounces back down to the planet. And so you could see it. It was clear that the planet was getting darker and darker at that time. And this was long before the age of Photoshop and long before the age of AI and long before the age of anything. And I remember seeing that and going, wow, this is intense. Like, there's really a problem. And I didn't see anything like that until many, 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 many years later. And I don't know whether it got suppressed. I've never seen it again, but I definitely saw these clouds of carbon dioxide coming from all of our cities, and you could see that the atmosphere was progressively getting darker because these satellites have been recording for, at that time, only 15 or 20 years. But it was clear that that was the thing. And I'm astonished that this is not, that they didn't release that video, whatever video that was, because that was obvious. It was clear. And recently, Ames Research Center just released a new one, but it's all smooth. The one I saw was all, jumpy and everything because it was photographs stacked together. And this was before the age of Photoshop, so they couldn't get them to line up perfectly. But what was fascinating to me is that Ames just recently did it, and it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. You can see it. You can see all the clouds coming from all the. It's the same exact thing I saw, except this all looks smooth and neat and pretty. But fascinatingly enough, of course, people are looking at that and going, "Yeah, that's a CG rendered thing." And I was like, "Oh, Project Hail Mary! I want to see that. Haven't seen it yet." Or something else.
Or something else? What do you mean?
I don't know. Brent's saying Project Hail Mary or something else.
Oh, I see. Good evening, Brent.
I'm like trying to figure out what is that a request for us to stop talking about this?
I think there's a movie called Project Hail Mary.
Oh yeah,
That's
by Andy Weir.
Yeah. So,
are you familiar with this person? This is the person who wrote The Martian.
Yeah.
So Andy Weir writes really wild and cool books. He wrote The Martian, and he wrote Project Hail Mary, and those books are really good. There is some very no, we're talking about climate change, because we were just saying that this is the hottest winter on record for Colorado. We've had less than a centimeter of snow the entire summer, or the entire winter, which feels like summer. And it's going to, now we're going on to water restrictions starting April 1st. So what usually happens in June is happening in April. So we were just talking about how I remember in the 80s seeing footage of the greenhouse gases up at NCAR, and I've never seen it since until recently, when everybody was like, oh, that's done by a CG, And I was like, if they had just released the one that I saw in 1988 or whatever, that one couldn't have been done by, they didn't have the machines to do that at the time. But Project Hail Mary is a good movie, I think. It's a great book. I love the book. Although it is really interesting how the promotion of Project Hail Mary goes, because one of the big reveals in the book is the other character, which has become this thing that they're using in the promotions. It's kind of like if you imagine, Lilo and Stitch, and they never show you Stitch until about halfway through, and then ta-da, it's Stitch. But then every commercial has Lilo and Stitch standing next to each other talking, and you'd be like, hey, Yep. Yeah, well, we definitely have the worst El Nino going on ever. But this is the worst it's ever been historically. And so that's part of why we're like way up, way up, way up,
Mhm.
way up.
Uh, but yeah,
And the last 6 years have been the hottest years on record, and each year has been hotter than the year before. Like, that's the end all be all of it. Yeah.
yeah, which brings up the question is, because some of these people that believe this seem like they should be the kind of people who are aware enough to realize the evidence in front of them is valid,
Right.
as opposed to believing the other part. And I'm not sure how much of it is them just not getting it versus them just in denial of the realization of, like, if this is true that we're doing this, then we've got a lot of work ahead of us. I don't want to do a whole lot of work, so it's better to just say we can't do anything, so let's not put any effort in this.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, although it was
Yeah.
interesting. I was talking to somebody in one of the threads that I probably should not have gotten into an argument with them on. But they were, they were saying something about it. And I said, it's interesting. These are the same people who did the snowball in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Like they said that climate change isn't real. Here's a snowball. I'm throwing it in Congress. And I'm like, now you have infinite summers. Why aren't you saying, oh, it must be real now because there's infinite summers, no snowballs to throw in Congress? And I'm like, why is it that didn't work? And it's like, and then his response was, imagine being so stupid as to thinking that, and I was like, this is the same person. You literally said there's snow. So obvious. I mean, you said this like 10 years ago. It was a person I've argued with in the past. And like 10 years ago, you literally said there's snowballs. So obviously climate change isn't real. And now you're literally poo-pooing me for saying, okay, well, let's use your logic.
Yeah. No, my evidence only works when it's used for me. You can't use my evidence against me.
That's so weird. That's so strange. I'm having such a hard time as a scientist who studies humans. This is the thing I'm having the hardest time with. And that is, it makes because these people are not lying. They truly believe this. This isn't like in the back of their brain, they know that the truth is X. And instead they're saying Y because they really, really, really want to be, they really believe this. And that's so weird. It's so strange because they literally will say one thing and then 5 years later absolutely believe the absolute opposite. And it's like, you and every time you confront them on it, they've got some weird side story about it. Well, that was because, oranges were at $4.75 a pound back then. And now jumbo jets fly at 600,000 feet. And you're like, whoa, where do you even get these things? I mean, like, none of them make any sense. And you can, I mean, they all make sense, but it's like such weird logic. It's like so strange that, and it's just like, can I walk you through this? Like, because this is just so weird. And I've literally had to go, you've got to walk me through your logic. How did you get here? How did you get to this point? And the thing that gets me is that they're so sure that all of us are inconsistent. And we're literally saying the same thing. We've been saying the same thing this entire time. We're not changing our position. Wow, it's just so weird.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, it's just one of those things of like, do you see how if the majority of the people started believing that climate change was something we could deal with and it's us that are messing it up, how that is not going to help the oil companies,
right?
And that they do not want us to do anything about it because it will have a direct effect on how much money they're making. Whereas, but yet that mentality that scientists are the ones trying to milk the system, it can't possibly be these oil companies trying to skew the system and make it look like it's not happening.
Our mutual friend, I learned recently discussing things with them. Our mutual friend literally did not understand how science works. I'm noticing that one. That one's one of the biggest problems. I
Mhm.
believe that these individuals truly believe that science is. A scientist goes out there and says, I think that the sky is purple, writes a paper
Mhm.
that defends it in some logical way, and everybody goes, gives him $1 billion, and
Yeah.
then we change all of our laws. And that's like, I think they really think that that's the case, because when I started explaining peer review and what a peer review was, they were like, oh, oh, really? Yeah. And they're like, well, but you know that scientists will make a thing, a paper, write a paper, and then everybody just goes with that and change. No, no, no. We all tear it down. In fact, we are more than happy for you to tear it down.
Mhm.
Go into it, chew it up, eat it. I said the real truth of the matter is most scientists are glad to have a peer review find something because they've got all their research tied up in it. And if you can find a mistake in there, that gives them an extra 2 years of work. So they're into you finding mistakes, because if you can find mistakes, they can keep on the job.
Mhm.
Once they've wrapped it up and nobody can find mistakes on it, they got to go find something else to work on. And so, actually, scientists kind of like it if you find a hole in their theory,
Mhm.
because then they can go back and re-research it. I said, but this belief that scientists get $1 billion from corporation XYZ and write up a paper that says corporation XYZ is perfect, and everybody goes,
Yeah.
that's the
It's
end
like,
of it,
uh,
just really baffles me. I'm like,
mhm.
that's just not the way science works. It's
Mhm.
like, and it's weird that seems to be acceptable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that seems to be like the accepted thought process. And I'm like, no. And then there was the discussion of, because I had heard that what's prompted the entire talk was, um, right, and yellow and green and orange, really the entire spectrum of the color wheel, just blue during the day, right? It's definitely purple at night when the sun's down and there's no light. Prove me wrong. Anyway, um, but the it was what prompted this was that I had read something and I was chuckling at the statement, which is somebody believes that scientists make things and then don't say anything about it, like they don't want to talk about their research.
Mhm.
And a scientist friend of mine was giggling at that, going, they obviously have never met a real scientist, because literally they will take you out to lunch to tell you everything about their project. They will pay for the lunch
Mhm.
so that you will listen to them, so that they can tell you everything. Scientists can't be shut up no matter what you do.
Yeah, they're in it for the passion of
Right.
what they believe, not because there's a lot of money, because there's not a lot of money.
No. No, and there's some really, kind of shockingly sad things, that holes in the concept of, but it's not. I'm he this individual isn't the only person that I've run into that has this problem.
Mhm.
um and that is, we don't actually teach scientific method in school, I don't think, anymore, because that's not the first person I've run into that does not understand how the scientific method works. Like, we want, because they were like, well, what stops you from getting a peer review from all of your friends who just validate everything you said? And I'm like, because anybody can peer review, anybody, anywhere,
Yeah,
anytime. And
there's
your enemies tend to want to see you fail. So your enemies actually are the ones that tend to do the first peer review, because they want to see you screw up. So political enemies, or enemies that are from a different school, and I don't mean necessarily literal enemies, but the system
Mhm.
works really well on that part, because there are a lot of people, especially when you come into like my field and I have a predominant theory and you have a different theory that's going to make my theory not work as well. And so you're going to make me mad, we're going to conflict, you're going to ruin a lot of my work. And so I'm going to be the first person to go through your theory with a fine-tooth comb.
Mm-hmm.
until I can find anything to get out of there. And then they were like, well, what if somebody then just did that to just destroy other people's theories? Well, then the first person gets to go through the finding with a fine tooth comb. And let me tell you, you do not want to be the person who went into somebody else's research, claimed that it was fake, and then got that exposed. So yeah, you don't want to be, you have to do it. You have to do it right. That's part of the process. So if I research your stuff and it turns out your theory is correct, I have to publish that I agree. Your theory matches. Because you don't want me to say, it's a lie, and then have someone else peer review my report and then go, I think he's biased. Because if you get a biased scientist, they can never work again. And the biggest problem is bias in science is bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when it was, well, most scientists are biased. Yeah,
But
we're all biased technically, but the whole point of science is one person can be biased. 50 people, you start to wear out the bias at that point in time. Which is the whole point.
Yeah, the thing to point out would have been too that the science community, out of all the different communities, tend to be the more open-minded of things, because they're trying to learn. That's their goal. They don't want to get locked into this is the only way something is done. Most of them, not all, obviously.
No. And I think one of the problems that I am seeing with this particular branch of individuals, and this is common through a lot of them on this particular political side, is one example equals all.
Mm-hmm.
So scientist Bob Smith back in 1963 was exposed for being biased. So now all scientists everywhere, all over the world, are all biased. And that's something I've noticed. We have one trans individual who actually did try to go into the women's bathroom to do a horrible thing. And now all of them are, and that, whoa, it's like, what, they don't understand the concept of field statistics. And of course, the truth of the matter is there's 8 billion people, which means you've got 8 billion different ways for people to do weird stuff out there. You will find one example of everything. That's not indicative of all of it, and you could play that game with anything, and that's just so weird. And it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
So didn't mean to get on to this tirade.
Well, it's gonna lead there because of the nature of everything.
Everything. Well, and I'm trying to figure out how to make all of this stuff kind of make sense, right? That's one of the things I've been really trying to figure out, is how do I make all of this make sense?
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, back in the day when it was the was it Al Gore who was one of the first people who was trying to point it out.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, well, humans can't affect things in that way. I'm like, what about all the species that we as humans have made extinct?
Yeah.
That if we had not done X, then this level of species would not have been wiped out entirely. So we are capable, apparently, of really big sweeping
changes.
So why not this other change that you apparently believe we're not capable of? And you remember my fire extinguisher, my fire in the house theory, which is, if I tell you there's a fire and we need to go outside, and you go, there's no fire, and it turns out I'm right, then we're in trouble. But if you come outside with me and it turns out I'm wrong, well, we're outside.
Right. That's the worst that's happened.
So if we say, let's try to make these changes and try to be more conscious of the things that could be affecting our world, if I'm not asking you to cut off your left arm, then it's not an unreasonable ask.
Right.
And if I'm wrong, then oh darn, you've now recycled some aluminum. so, so
I've
which is
often thought about that one too, and that's kind of a good point.
it's amazing to me that how other countries are so on top of this and we are not at
Yeah.
all. So everybody else is wrong. We're the only ones that's right. It's got to be the logical solution.
Yeah, that's the other weird one.
Mhm.
I mean, I could understand the logic of people are there are people and there are two political parties in the United States, and so it could be misleading information from one political party.
Mhm.
But most every place elsewhere in the world is in, so you'd have to start believing that easily 6 to 7 billion people are all somehow misled by the liberal party.
Mhm.
Well, and you know what, that's not, but that's not the I mean, and I agree with you on that one, Brent. I mean, no disagreement there, but that doesn't invalidate it.
You live as you preach.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't make it any less of a problem.
Mhm.
It just means that those individuals should practice a little bit better climate and environmental science
Awareness.
It'd be nice if they were more aware.
Well, you know
What we are aware about.
what we are aware about, even though it's maybe 2 minutes ahead of awareness.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, and it's because awareness starts with sponsorship.
Mhm.
As in, Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, and your mom.
Mom. Just how it is.
Okay,
Ugh.
you got nothing better to do.
I guess not.
There we go.
Let's
Yep.
see other fun stuff in the world.
There's a lot of other stuff in the world. It's interesting.
Weird how there's so much stuff in the world.
We should do something about the stuff in the world.
Stuff elimination.
Yeah. So yeah.
What new geeky stuff have you been up to?
I've just been drawing a lot these days, which is nice.
Are you doing the live draws?
No, not yet. I've been meaning to, but my system is so screwed up right now. I really just need to take this machine in and have it repaired. It's completely inconsistent as to when it will decide to get really weird. And when it gets weird, it's literally, it takes 2 minutes or 3 minutes to open to open up Task Manager just to select shutdown. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, and no disagreement with you on that one, Brent. Absolutely no disagreement. Although there's little I can ever do to control all of these people. So, I mean, I know me personally right now, I am the most environmentally friendly I've ever been.
Yeah.
I had to return my gas car. And so, well, there's that. Which wasn't because of environmental reasons, but it still happens to be convenient. Like, it just.
I've intentionally been driving the electric car way more than I was.
Yep.
So.
Me too. Me too. Look at that. Okay, maybe. So, for those of you who are not catching on to the joke that we're making over here, is that when we have 2 electric cars and 1 gas car in this family, but I had to return because my gas car was a lease. I had to return my gas car, which means now this family is now officially all electric, which is kind of cool. but it's not because we were like, haha. It was just more of a, that's the way this rolled out. So that's kind of funny. That just cracks me up.
Mhm.
So not a big issue, just an interesting side note.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
Yep.
so
Gosh. Yeah. Let's see. I've not watched.
you'll be here over Memorial Weekend. Woot!
Hey, that's NDK, isn't it? Or no, that's Labor Day weekend.
It's Labor Day.
Is there a convention on Memorial Day weekend?
Oh, probably. There's a convention this weekend I just discovered.
Oh, what is it?
Uh, it's All Seas, so it's a comic book convention.
Hmm.
So that's cool.
All Seas.
Yeah, I think that's something about
Isn't isn't that also a like an actual location that sells comics, All Seas Comics or something like that? Or
It was. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it is. It is. It is because there's a All Seas comic in Aurora, which I think is where this is.
got to be connected.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, I'm presuming that this is sort of their thing,
Mm-hmm. Cool.
which is fine. Nothing wrong with that.
It's all wrong. What are you talking about? Let's see. I have not watched any of the new Star Trek stuff. Don't mainly because there's enough other stuff, and it seems like the kind of thing that would be better to watch when we get people together that want to watch Star Trek stuff.
Oh yeah.
Um,
And stuff that you and I could watch together, and that'd be fun. And I can give a lot more background history and stuff like that too.
mm-hmm.
Halo Flashpoint. That's a thing.
Oh, yeah. A lot of these game things are getting their own tabletop battle stuff. In fact, StarCraft,
Mm-hmm.
which could just call it StarCraft Hammer.
StarCraft Hammer.
Yeah, Star Crammer.
Star Crammer.
Mm-hmm.
Not.
Just cram it right in your star.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah.
Probably not accurate.
Mm,
Could be a problem.
yeah, that's a.
Mhm.
StarCraft miniature game.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's a quick way for me to lose money, right there.
Yeah.
Although honestly, I'm not gaining anything at the moment intentionally. I am intentionally not trying to gather anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an intentional thing because I'm trying very hard not to.
Don't buy things. Yeah.
Yeah, because if I buy things, I got to figure out what to do with it when I move.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm intentionally not gathering stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, not a.
Gosh, what else is there? But there's a game that one of my kiddos was playing that they got me involved in called Menace. It's if you've played the XCOM, it's kind of like XCOM
Okay.
because you're controlling squads. I feel like I might have mentioned this last time we were on the show, but it's you get squad leaders and build out your squads and equip them and then go on missions. And it's so far it's been pretty fun. They recommended it. It doesn't have the same kind of. It's not like StarCraft in the way that you need to gather resources, but you do missions in order to gain resources such as equipment that you can sell or upgrade, experience points for your characters so you can get them new skills, sway with the different factions of the planets and the universe in order to get access to their technology. So it's pretty in depth for something that was, I believe, kind of indie based. But if you like tabletop turn-based games, it's a neat version of that just on the computer.
That is
yeah,
cool.
Let's see other things. Great improv show last night, and I'm also still part of the thing called Queen City Variety Show, They're
Right.
doing one show a month. I feel like this show this month at Mutiny Comics, it's going to be on a Thursday instead of our usual Friday. But you can follow all their stuff on Facebook to find out that. And then there's a cabaret, Clockwork Cabaret, I think it's called, where they've actually booked a show for the variety show as well. So,
Nice.
which will be a new experience. I've never done improv at a cabaret. So,
Will you sing the song though?
somebody will.
Okay. It's inevitable. There's a certain amount of this just kind of has to happen, I think,
Mhm.
when you're dealing with cabaret.
Then the question becomes, though, has it been overdone? You know,
Is that even possible? I'm just, I'm asking for a friend.
well, and like karaoke, a lot of KJs, karaoke jockeys, feel there are just some songs that are just way too overdone, like Love Shack. And that just, it seems to be that song that somebody always sings every time they're at karaoke.
Is that somebody you? Is that somebody in this room? Could you
Pro-
point to that somebody?
haven't sung it in a long time, but there was definitely a time where that was like one of the few songs I would sing.
I was about to
It,
say that was a
it,
go-to for you.
it helps having a bigger variety of options instead of just
Yeah.
like, these are my 5 songs I sang.
Yeah. That's true.
You got
I
any
just kind of
special
wonder.
plans? Any special plans for NDK since that's coming up in a few months?
Yeah, actually, I just started thinking about what I want to offer for panels
Mm-hmm.
because that's going to be coming up soon. I do a different thing than other people do. I don't actually, I'm supposed to, because guests do a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's, but I've been thinking about, I was actually kind of pondering the idea of doing the Amachi thing and talking about the Japanese internment in World War II.
Hmm.
I've been on that project for this amount of time, which means I'm actually one of the more expert people, oddly, on this particular topic in the area, and people are actually starting to ask me questions about it. But also because it is involving the Japanese American community, and that has a lot to do with the history of Japan and us and Japanese culture, and there's all kinds of stuff involved.
Yeah.
I was thinking that might be something that'd be kind of fun um, to talk about in a lot of ways. So that was a thing that I was kind of pondering.
Hmm.
So that's one that I was thinking about. I've been approached to talk about fandom throughout the years with somebody else. Um, so that would be kind of a fun one to do as well.
Do you know this somebody else?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not
So
just some random person.
I do not know whether this person wishes to have this spread all over the world.
And that's
So,
fine. No, no, no. You
yeah.
do not need to. I was just curious if you were getting paired up with someone that you did not already know.
Yeah. No. This is somebody who's approached me to talk about it as,
Oh, okay,
and I know this individual. So this is an
cool.
individual I do know. So I should table. I can't table and wander the con. So I try not to table at NDK specifically. That's a very, very specific thing I do. Like, as in, I intentionally do not table at that one spot. So, um, that's a thing, just a ponderable on that one. I agree with you in general on all of these things. I just tend to not table at NDK rather specifically.
Yeah, you want to enjoy the convention.
Yeah, I keep intending on doing things like going and playing games in the game room, and I never do, but I keep meaning to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely something that I intend to do. So we'll see. Not to say that your option is incorrect there, Brent. That is a good solution, and I like it, and I appreciate it. So anyway, yeah, neither here nor there.
Well, cool. Yeah, and most likely we are moving our location for the dojo to downstairs, and I've expressed my concern about it being too warm, and so they're are going to be exploring possibilities of how to deal with that. So,
Oh yeah.
so I don't know for sure it's going to be too warm or not, but I want to be prepared. And I'm thinking even just a couple of box fans should probably be fine to keep the air circulation going.
You'd think that we wouldn't have a problem with that
Hmm.
because this is a convention full of fans.
Supposedly, they might be fake fans, right?
That's true.
False fans
False fans
waving false flags or something.
or something. I I was pretty proud of that one actually. That was a good one. I'm pretty proud
Hmm.
of that. Honestly, legitimately, I think that was
Hmm.
pretty good. Um,
Well, you got to take the wins where you think you have them.
right. The winds of change.
Hmm.
Hmm. So, yeah, definitely. So yeah. So what else we got going on?
Oh, that's all there is for NDK. Let's see what else is going on. They're apparently remaking the Harry Potter series, but the as a series, I guess. But the trailer I've seen that's already out looks like they haven't changed anything other than the cast. So it's kind of like, why are you just redoing the same stuff? Is it because it's like Spider-Man did it, so we must be able to do it too?
Yeah,
Um,
I wonder.
just seems boring. Like there'd be better options than that.
Right, right. It does. Seems weird. It does indeed. So I don't know. I mean, I'm curious if there's a different take on it, or
Mhm. It didn't look like it.
yeah.
Looked like it was just because you have that scene where they Hermione and Ron meet Harry Potter for the first time on the train.
Mm-hmm.
Is in the trailer, and it's like we've seen this before.
Right.
So why are they doing it again? But anyway, um, that's apparently happening. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, so I don't really care. I just thought it was interesting that they have made the choice the way they have made it. What other
Oh, hey,
stuff's
you
out
will
there?
be back here for Labor Day. Check it. Nice. We're into that plan. We're into the plan of you being here for Labor Day. That means you can join us as we randomly wander around IndieK doing IndieK stuff
As we labor.
as we labor, like a bee labor, right? Not
Hmm.
an A labor. We bee labor it. That's us. We belabor everything, like these jokes,
Hmm.
which I
Uh,
am belaboring right now.
Got to be on the B team so people don't bother you all the time. Uh, Gosh, let's
The
see.
book's
I'm trying
more
to think of.
got a lot of for the movie. Oh, I see. So they're trying to expand upon that. I get it. I get it. I see what
Mhm.
they're after there.
Maybe that's felt a lot of people were disappointed in not existing in the movie. Um,
I was just
people,
hoping.
Mhm. I heard that the new Daredevil show is upsetting a lot of people that are fans of Ice. Not to get political, because Daredevil's a fandom, so I feel like it's a safe place for me to talk about something with
Why
that.
would Daredevil make people who were fans of
Fans of Ice.
Ice mad?
I haven't watched it yet. I just
Not for real
apparently
there.
I think that there's a group in there that's not specifically Ice, but clearly modeled after Ice.
Oh, supposed
That,
to be Ice, and they that
but they're
makes them
not.
okay. Yeah,
And the Punisher calls them a bunch of amateurs or something like that. I'm not sure what the insult was. Um,
fair.
but yeah, that's now I need to watch it. I was already going to watch it.
Right. Yeah.
Other things. I haven't really been diving into geek stuff a whole lot. There's a Crokinole tournament coming up in April, in a couple of Saturdays. Not this coming Saturday, but the one after that. Um, if I got my dates right, I have to look at the calendar here. Now this Saturday would be the 4th, and the next would be the 11th. So I might be.
Music coming from? Somebody needs to stop the music.
It's not me. I didn't do it.
Okay. I've stopped the music. Oh my god. That was wild. Where'd the music come
Yeah.
from?
April 11th, Saturday at Locavore, 11:30 a.m. And the price for getting into the tournament includes lunch made by a actual private chef type person. Private chef.
Private chef. Do we salute privates? Always this thing makes me-
Salute these privates.
These privates. These nuts. Gotcha. All right. Well, that's a thing.
It is a thing.
Yeah. Cool. Definitely a plus.
Uh-huh.
So
And then I guess we're getting back to whatever it was we were watching last time. Oh, Fallout 2. So
Fallout, yeah.
hopefully
We didn't
everybody's
really.
schedule.
We just sort of petered out completely, didn't we?
Well, we had a person drop out last Friday, and we weren't going to continue without them.
Right.
So that was the issue there. And there's your problem.
There's your problem right there. Yeah. That's the thing.
So hopefully we can get back on our regular Friday schedule again. People's jobs don't get in the way.
Regularly scheduled Friday.
Mhm.
Artemis 2. Yeah, I know. I've been watching them gear up for Artemis 2. Really working on that one, hoping for the best here. Kind of concerned a little bit that, Artemis 2 isn't going to, because, who knows? Who knows? Anything can happen, but still. So have you heard much about Artemis 2?
Are you asking Brent or me?
I'm asking you.
I know that they're planning on doing another trip to the moon, and that apparently someone, I don't know who's, like, we're not giving up the moon again. And I didn't realize we had given it up in the first place. So maybe are we in a fight for the moon?
Did you know that we were in a fight for the moon?
I did not know that.
It's an arm wrestling thing, which is difficult in space.
Is it a space war or is it a space conflict? Or space excursion?
It's it's a space police action.
Okay. As long as we don't get in trouble for it.
Right. That way you don't have to cross any weird lines. For the moon. No, you played Risk.
Yeah.
That version 2210 or whatever, 20 whatever.
Yeah, one of the better versions in my opinion.
I love that version of Risk. That's my favorite version of Risk. Mostly because you're limited to 5 turns, which makes it the awesome.
Yeah, you're not playing forever.
Right.
Which is probably one of the better things that they did with Warhammer. I don't remember it being limited to a specific number of turns back in the early days. It might have been, but because the game was so complex, it seemed like it still took forever. But the newer ones, the newer version does have a very specific turn limit before everything's just done and over with.
Right. And then, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's good to put limitations on a game, so that way it's just done at this turn.
It works. So it's the same thing with what's going on right now with Artemis 2. We only have 5 turns of which to
get there.
Beat everybody, and then, make sure you've moved all the right people to the moon. So that's critical. Mission critical.
Okay.
No, I mean, actually, the thing that is interesting about Artemis 2, and all of this is all jokes notwithstanding. The last time we had a human being, that far out into space, I was 6 months old. Like anytime we think about that, I'm like, yeah, because it was December of 1972. So I was 6 whole months old. And so, um, yeah, that's what Brent's saying right there. So and that has always been my entire life, as we all know that I am such a space geek and I am so into space and all of these things.
Mhm.
It has really bothered me that my entire life we've never gone. I mean, like I was alive when astronauts were on the moon, but only barely. You know what I mean? I was like 6 months old and that was it. And then we never did it again. And that still bothers me. And so, I am very much looking forward to Artemis. Um, I think the coolest part about Artemis is they're going to have live streaming of the cameras on the capsule. So you'll be able to watch the Earth get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as the capsule gets further away. I've also been looking at the wild geometry free return stuff that they're doing to get it to the moon. It's really cool. Like, as opposed to the Apollo program where they pretty much just put the rocket in orbit and then put a really big rocket that just pushed it straight to the moon and then came back. This one's got a lot more looping around the Earth and coming out and looping around the moon and coming back to the Earth and looping around. And like, there's a lot more math going on in this, which I thought was kind of cool. Right? Apollo 18 happened, man. They had a whole movie about it. So did 1920. So. While I'm at it, might I recommend a book series called Dungeon Crawler Carl? I've been reading this book series at the behest of our beloved James French, who recommended it a while back, and he told me I had to read it, and I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And now I'm on book like 6 or 5 or something like that, and I just keep chewing them up and eating them alive. I love this series so much. I can give you a it'll be slightly spoilery in that it's stuff that happens in the first 2 chapters of the book, but of the first book, but the rest of the series is completely awesome. But essentially the book is there's this guy named Carl, and
go figure.
Right. He in the middle of the night, one night, his cat Donut jumps out the window and ends up on the tree outside the house in the middle of this cold Seattle night. And he's mad and grumpy. He goes outside to grab Donut. And when he does, every building in the entire world flattens instantly, killing everybody who was inside. And when that happens, these doors open up all around the world with staircases. And he's standing out there in his boxer shorts with his cat Donut, and everything else he knew is squished. And so he goes down into this staircase, and he's effectively in a D&D adventure. And he immediately meets up with a guide who, assigns him a level 1 character sheet effectively to him, and then gives a potion to the cat, who ends up, by just random chance, transforming into another character. So his cat is now a character. Still a cat, but a character. So him and Donut now travel the dungeon things to solve to figure out this whole thing, because there's nothing else to do. The world has been destroyed. So he's got nothing better to do except that he's got like 4 days before level 1 collapses. And when level 1 collapses, if you're still on the level and haven't found the staircase to level 2, you will be crushed when level 1 collapses. So he's got to find the staircase to level 2. So there are many books It's probably not a spoiler to tell you he survives and manages to make it to level 2.
I'm not Yablo at all.
Right. I mean, I'm not giving much of a spoiler away. There are a bunch of books. So, um, but it's deeper than that. I mean, like every book, there's more layers that are being added to the story, which are the kinds of stories I absolutely love. Um, there's more of a underplot. Why did this happen? Who's behind all of this? All of that's getting spooled out in all of the different books and everything like that, and I find that fascinating. And you know what I mean, like it's just been really, and it's well written, it's a well written series, um and it's funny. And Donut, the reason why I'm laughing is because Brent's Apollo 18 comment sounds like something Donut would say, because Donut is a relatively new sentient creature. So Donut watched a whole bunch of TV when Donut was living in Carl's apartment. And so Donut believes a lot of this stuff is actually real. Like, what else would Donut believe? Right? Like, so there's a whole bunch of like Donut comments where, and yeah, Donut has decided she's royalty. So it's actually Princess Donut.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the funniest part is the way that the story portrays their relationship. It's a fun series. Highly recommend it. Not a terribly expensive series, but everybody in our group, it is so geeky that it's clearly written by a guy who was playing D&D one night with his friends and said, what would happen if one of us got stuck in the stupid dungeon? You know, so it's the Payday game that you had run a whole bunch of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally that, except you're not stuck with me because I got killed in the crush. Instead, you got stuck with your cat. Like that's just so funny. So yeah, highly recommend it, guys. I really think that if you are the kind of person who thinks this is if you're kind of person who's watching this show, then you probably are the kind of person whom this book series is for. There you go. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
This ad brought to you by
Right? Yeah. Anthropologists have identified 7 universal moral rules found in all of the world. Help your family, help your group, return favors, be brave, defer to superiors, divide resources fairly, and respect others' property. That's in every culture everywhere, which I think is interesting. And part of my, I have a theory I'm working on that one.
Is it a theory about bunnies, dancing demons?
It's dancing demons. Oh, something's not right here.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, did you hear the thing about Firefly returning?
Animated.
Animated. Yeah.
So last I heard, they needed a home. Have they?
They don't have a streaming service yet, but they definitely have enough information out there, or they have everybody's on board.
Yeah.
Joss has agreed,
and Joss is a part of it.
Disney has agreed, which that's the one that shocks me. I did not expect Disney to agree to this one, but here we are. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Why would you think Disney wouldn't be on board?
Because Disney never gives up anything. That's all. I mean, I guess like.
Well, they're probably still getting something out of it,
right? I mean, yeah, entirely plausible that but still, kind of 9 books so far. Artifact. So Brent's saying the artifact is something that would be interesting as well. So
is that a fact? Is that an artifact?
Definitely is an artifact.
Mm.
You know what's also a fact, though?
That
It's
is
10
so.
o'clock.
Yeah.
And we got to send Brent off to bed.
Yep.
So, and
Well,
if
we
Bob was here, we'd send Bob off to bed too, but Bob's not here. So,
yeah. Bob's not here.
which
So,
makes
in
us
any
sad.
case, yeah. But this has definitely been an hour long.
Definitely has been 1 hour long.
Mm-hmm.
And that means it's time for us to go, which means that what I'm going to say is first I'm going to find all the little buttons I'm going to push, and then
you'll say
I'm
it.
going to say, until next week, I've been Guy,
I've been Troy.
and this is Geek Tank.